and good evening from the Utica Curling Club. I'm Roger Roulette. I'm here with Jeremy Zhang, our guest commentator tonight.
Hi, Roger. How are you doing tonight?
And we're bringing you the last preliminary game in Pool B of the 2020 UCC College Bonspiel. And our feature game tonight are the two top-ranked teams in Pool B. The Big Red of Cornell playing the Red Rocks appropriately, with Dashing Ma as lead, Brendan Polo at second, Jacob Spiegel at third, and Tyler Mahler at skip. Playing the Blue Rocks will be RIT1. We've seen this team before in the web stream this weekend. Emmanuel Papatera at lead, Ben Yeager at second, Joseph Urbano playing third and skipping the team, and Morgan Shine throwing force rocks and acting as vice skip. Should be a good game tonight. Just about to get underway. We'll be on sheet 5. And the winner of this game, I believe, will be the first seed in the championship playoff round. They'll face off against one of the two teams from Pool A who've already qualified. In fact, we know who those qualifiers are. Top two teams in Pool A with 3-0 records are Paul Mokotoff's rink from Syracuse at 3-0. And the Cowell rink from RIT2. They won an extra end game, which pushed our start back about a half an hour.
It was exciting, though.
It was very exciting. They came back from 3 down in the last end to tie the game, and then won and stole their way home in an extra to finish with a perfect 3-0 score. So those two teams qualify out of the A pool. They will be seeded appropriately. Syracuse is the number 1 seed, and they'll play the number 2 seed in the B pool tonight, and RIT2 will play the number 1 seed in the B pool. And those teams are yet to be determined, but probably one of them will be coming out of our Sheet 5 feature game tonight.
Looks like the team's got their practice slides in, and play is about to start. I'm actually really glad I got to, come back here and back to my old stomping grounds. I'm actually really excited to join my college mentor and instructor, Roger Roulette. And he taught me almost everything I need to know. Maybe MJ probably taught me the rest, but Roger the most probably.
You probably learned a bit from your teammates too as well. I mean, last year you guys, after 4 years of hard work and playing in men's leagues and a lot of practice time, I remember you guys made the finals of the USA Curling College Championships. Came out with a silver medal. Very good run.
Yeah, definitely. And like you mentioned, if it wasn't for almost the contribution of everyone here at the Utica Club, the members and the leagues and everything, we wouldn't have learned as much as we did. So.
Well, you made most of your time in 4 short years in college. I mean, most of you, except for your skip, never curled before, right?
Yes, actually, yeah. It was just Blake Hagberg was his name.
Yep.
And he's definitely a familiar name in the college circuit. Probably before, I don't know about now, but.
Yeah, but most of you guys started out non-curlers and advanced pretty quickly, right?
Yes. He actually brought us into a college learn to curl, and we all started with no experience. And I think we were just all really passionate to learn and improve along the years, and I think it worked out for us.
Oh, and you guys did that for sure, I think.
Yep.
Earned some really great results in the college Bonspiels over the years. I guess your last year, it was last season, right? You actually won this Bonspiel for the first time after making it to the finals almost every year, right? Or the semifinals.
Yeah, actually, before last year and the previous year, we didn't really make it to any finals of any Bonspiel events, and we actually developed a long-standing rivalry with RPI, and we probably met for 5 or 6, 7 Bonspiel finals over the past 2 years, and surely makes it a good game every time we played against them.
Yeah, I say the Utica and RPI had quite a rivalry going there for years with Evan Mullaney, right?
Mm-hmm. Evan Mullaney.
Being the leader of that group, and he's moved on out of the college ranks as well this year. Still curling in the curling circuit, though. You see him out on the Bonspiel circuit still.
Yeah, Broomstones, I think.
Yep.
I believe I heard from that earlier. Which is actually his home club.
Yep.
So.
Well, our feature game tonight, RIT playing the Blue Rocks. We'll have the hammer here in the first ends. A lot of clutter up front already. It's the first time we've seen this Cornell team. They're just down the road from us about, well, I guess they're almost 2 hours away from here, right? They're 90 minutes from where I live, but I'm about a half an hour from here.
Ithaca, yeah, Ithaca.
Yep.
I should have probably known that. I'm from New York.
A long drive for them. They curl out of the Finger Lakes Curling Club, which is an arena facility. And so this is a chance for them to curl on dedicated curling ice. They've obviously done pretty well. They've got a 2-0 record coming into this game, and they're playing for top seeding.
And how would the championship bracket work? Would it be top seed from Pool A plays bottom seed of the second seed from Pool B, and then vice versa?
Number 1 from A will play the number 2 from B, and vice versa. It's a 4-team playoff, single elimination.
Mm-hmm.
There is a consolation round, though, so the losers of that first semifinal game will play for the bronze medal, as it were.
Right. Actually, yeah, I remember this from last year now. It's all coming back to me. And actually, that's a really good thing about us having 6 sheets here at this club, because it does allow for more play on Sunday, usually like playoff Sunday. And, you know, some teams, you know, they might get eliminated early in some brackets and other Bonspiels, you know, with weird brackets and stuff like that. But with here, we got 12 teams playing at the very end. And it's just good use for all 6 of our sheets.
Well, it's good to see 12 teams out there on Sunday and all playing for something. So this is one of the biggest college bonspiels in the country. I think the only other one that's this close is the one at Broomstones, right? They often have 24 teams.
Yeah, around that much, yes.
I think I calculated there were 294 merit points up for grabs this weekend. So that can have a big impact on who qualifies for the USA Curling National Championship. Only the top 16 teams in the nation get to go, and they all have to earn merit points by going out and playing in sanctioned competitions. I guess this year they've rebranded it as a curling tour, so all of the official sanctioned events are part of an official tour. Now, and this is the last stop in the Eastern region.
When you said the merit points, was that calculated from both here at this Utica Club College Bonspiel and the Minnesota one currently happening?
Nope, just 294 points just from this spiel here.
Wow, just from this spiel.
Yep. With the number of teams we have and the number of games we're playing, it's pretty easy to figure it out, and that's a lot of points. So everyone participating in this event has a chance to earn some additional credit toward qualifying for that national event in Fargo.
North Dakota.
It'll be an interesting trip out there, yeah. But looking forward to going out there. Actually, I have a colleague that works at University of Minnesota Moorhead, which is right across the river in Minnesota. And she and her husband both curl out of Fargo.
Okay.
It's a nice little curling club. Looking forward to setting foot there.
So I guess back to the game. Here we got one of the stones.
Just one red stone from Cornell in the rings, and a lot of clutter up front.
RIT probably looking for a raise here, I would think.
You raise or at least open things up a little bit so that they can score. Right now, they don't have an easy way into the rings without going pretty wide. I don't think that Cornell rock is a really good scoring rock just sitting in the top 12, but you do have to outdraw it, and you have to find a way to get to the rings. So
Yep,
right
true.
now, got to go way out, almost off the sheet the way it curls.
Well, this definitely looks like pretty good weight.
So this is Skip Joe Urbano and throwing third stones.
Oh, but
And
not coming
just,
back.
that one just hung. It can be a little straight out there on the sheet 6 side of sheet 5. And if you get out far enough, you lose some curl. And it's also the first end, probably run a little straighter.
I definitely got caught in that path several times over the season, I think.
We played here in the men's club championship. Sheet 5 was, let's just say, it was a very challenging piece of real estate. I think the skip that I faced in the draw we played on sheet 5, we were calling it the migraine sheet because it was very hard to figure out. Every path was a little different, and you had to learn on some critical shots sometimes that you would miss.
Yeah. And sometimes it's scary too because you're like, you're putting the broom like right on the stone for some hits, even like a downweight hit, and you're like, do I actually trust that or not? But then, but that's what you got to do sometimes, I guess. Who was that against actually? Do you remember?
I think I was playing Pat Costello.
Oh,
so
Pat Costello,
he's
really
very,
good curler.
very good ice reader, and the two of us were just getting a headache. We were kind of having a good chat. It was a very close game, and both of us were missing critical shots for our team because we just didn't know where to put the broom. And the bad thing about being a skip is if you put the broom in the wrong place, 4 people look bad. It's a known fact. You can throw the right weight and hit the broom and miss the shot because you didn't really have the right amount of curl calculated. So still that one lonely shot stone in the rings, and
Definitely doesn't have to raise this blue stone too far to outcount that red.
no, and just want to get it out of the way. It just seems
This dot line definitely looks better this time, though.
it does.
See if he has the weight.
You have the weight, and that's much better weight, and that's going to move it up for shot stone. Just going to bite the 8-foot.
Really good result. Definitely good development here for RIT.
It's a gettable stone, though. It's not. Of course, I wouldn't want to figure out what the ice is here going inside out. I bet you it would curl pretty hard going this way. But it is kind of wide open in the middle of the port. Not a gimme, though, by any means. And Cornell may just ignore it and decide they're going to raise something in.
I think on this, because this side is straighter, the right side, it might actually help with going through the port. One of the weird situations where the straightness does help.
So you could put the broom in the middle of the rock and just throw the outturn, right? The counterclockwise turn.
Yeah, definitely.
And just bop that right on the nose.
Still a hard shot, though. I mean, it's...
Well, it'd be very easy to get the ice wrong on this shot. They're going to give it a try. They're going to play for a little curl, and I think that's way too much ice. I bet you they'll crack the guard if they throw any weight out there. I agree with you. If I was going to throw this, I think I would just put the broom right on the rock. Let's see if we get any curl here.
Actually, probably not, but this might do something.
Definitely cracked the guard. Just ran really straight out there as we thought. Of course, we have the advantage of playing on these sheets several times a week, so they each have their character, and these teams are playing them for the first time.
Exactly. I think everyone at our club knows the straight side by now. I got a shout out from Ashley Paul. Interesting. Go Jeremy Zhang from SUNY Poly.
One of your old teammates?
Yeah. I think she went down to Virginia.
She
and
in Potomac or curling on the Potomac Curling Club or?
she is, yes,
Yep.
Potomac. Yep. And she's doing a lot of better things than I'm doing right now. I'll just say that. And great teammate. Definitely had a lot of time, good times curling with her back in the day. I guess I'm old enough to say back in the day now.
Well, a lot of our former college curlers are off all sorts of places curling in clubs all around the country now. A lot of them are in leadership positions of those curling clubs, so it's always nice to see.
Yeah, definitely nice to see like the community grow from the young people, you know, because that's usually how I guess things work. Younger people taking over things and finding new ways to improve things, you know, things like that.
Wow, did that just go right through the hole?
Did it?
Did he touch anything? You're looking to raise something, and yeah, he just sent that right through the hole.
Oh.
I don't think he could have. He could do that if he tried it 3 times in a row.
Yeah. And, well, yeah, that was actually not the worst thing to happen. It could have, if it didn't curl enough, it could have potentially
if he clipped the blue.
Clipped the blue under, and then it might have raised the red in enough for shot. But
or could have taken it out, but now Cornell's looking for some way to get the stone in. There's so much clutter up front. There's no draw path into the rings. I think they're looking to raise one of their stones on the outside of the sheet. I think they're looking maybe to catch this one on a little bit on the high side and push it in toward the center.
Yep.
Well, they don't have to push that one very far either to be shot. They just need to have a good piece of the 8-foot. And this side of the sheet should curl. Just a question of weight.
Definitely has the, you can throw this a little bit heavier too because you're hitting this thing on an angle. So it does give you some leeway to redirect some of that weight off.
Yeah, you hit that on an angle, it takes some of the energy away. And it's going to be light. It's over curling already.
Yeah.
They might catch the other red. Not enough weight.
Not enough weight.
Needed to get around the whole thing. Now the question is, how does RAT get their dues? I guess they got to play the long raise.
Mm-hmm. They might have to play inside out on. Yeah, I think that's what they're going for. Definitely.
Yeah, they need to play the in-turn.
Yep.
In-turn raise. They're just going to come around, try to get to the nose of this stone and push it straight back. Get their deuce. Not an easy shot, actually. Pretty messy first end. Not the way you'd really draw it up if you have the last rock advantage. All those blue stones in the middle.
Well, let's see what happens here.
Last stone, first end. Morgan Shine looking to play a tap raise.
Needs to curl a little bit here. He might actually tick it and roll in to redirect. Nope, not going to touch it.
Going to go right through the hole again.
Yeah.
He's done that twice this end. Bet he can't do it 3 times. So that'll be a score of 1 for RIT. They grab a single here in the first end. Could have been worse for Cornell. Everybody's standing around. I think that's just a score of 1, right?
Yep. Yeah, I think so.
Everybody's standing around looking kind of confused there. It's like, I think that's a single, and we can go ahead and play the second end. And Cornell, with the Red Rocks, will have the last rock advantage in the second end to play.
We can go around and we can give a score update of the first end.
There are a few scores, so who's got a score posted out there?
So sheet 1, we have MIT 2 scored 1 point over RPI 2. Sheet 2 has not updated score yet, so I'll move on to Sheet 3, which Villanova 1 scored 1 point over Penn State. On Sheet 4, we have Yale 2 scoring 4 points over SUNY Poly. And then on Sheet 6, we have Harvard 1 scoring 1 point over Colgate 1.
All right, so that brings us up to date across the shed. We'll give you more score updates after the completion of the second end.
Actually, so back on the that first end, with all the guards and the clutter up there, I did develop a theory that perhaps getting Hammer in the first end, actually giving up Hammer, even if you won a coin toss or whatever it is, and giving up the Hammer might not be a horrible thing, because you might end up accidentally with more guards because of the frost and the ice hasn't sped up yet. And more guards does technically help the team without the Hammer.
Well, especially if they're in the center of the sheet, for sure.
Yeah, but that's just my theory. No one has listened to me about that before, so it's okay.
Yeah, I still think it's an advantage to get off to a good start with the Hammer and grab your deuce, but you do have to take care to keep that middle open. You always got to remember when you've got the last rock that you need to be able to score your single,
yep, of course,
if necessary. And sometimes you get caught up in that come-around game and you forget that you need to score, and it gets too late to start peeling guards out.
It's definitely important to know when to start bailing.
Yep,
out.
When to bail out early. Yep, not wait too late to do it. So center guard up by RIT. They didn't get successfully around. Now Cornell's going to try to beat them around to be the first hog to the trough, get to the 4 foot first. So you've been around a few years now, so you've graduated out of the college ranks. Your college team moved forward quite strongly over 4 years, and finally winding up in the finals at the Nationals. And you've been in the men's league now for a few years now. You're starting to skip now, right, in the men's leagues?
Yeah.
So I'd ask you a question. Now, what's the biggest difference that you see between college curling? You've been in that crowd for a while, and
I think
curling in the men's league level.
Yeah, I definitely get more of an adrenaline rush probably playing college, because I don't know. It might be. I'll use this analogy. It's like, if you're in middle school or whatever, and you have like a kickball game against another school that you like two elementary schools meeting up in one middle school. And I actually remember back in my middle school days, we had a kickball game like that the very first day. It's the most competitive thing I ever played in, and it just sort of feels like that when it's just another school and you're trying to represent your school and do really well. But definitely in the men's leagues, though, you learn so much more stuff you wouldn't learn in college curling, and the skill level, I would say, definitely a lot higher. What I faced and what I faced in college. But also it's because the guys in the leagues, they've been playing, most of them have been playing for a while. And Roger, actually, how long have you been playing for?
This is my 17th season.
Oh, I'm 17.
Yeah.
Okay. And Roger, actually, you had some achievements to your name back, right? Like the Mitchell Bonspiel, a lot of our mixed championships. The men's championships as well. Men and mix.
This year, actually, I had two good teams actually in front of me, and we were lucky enough to win both the men's and the mix this year. We didn't do so well in the Mitchell this year. We made the finals a couple of years ago with my men's team, but that year we didn't even make it out of the playdowns. We were lucky to get in that year, so just go figure. It takes a little bit of luck to win some of those events. As any event, you need a little bit of luck, and you have to play really well. But it seems like every event you play, there's at least one kind of off game or bad game where your team's not clicking, and you hope you can get through it. Kind of like baseball pitchers, when they don't have their stuff and they figure out how to win a game. That's sometimes you need to do that if you want to win a competition. I feel like that's been true of almost every competition we've ever won, and maybe you've experienced the same thing, but there's kind of always one ugly win somewhere in there.
Oh, of course. Wins you aren't even proud of. Like, that's just, you just shake your head because of, like, you miss shots, but it's like also, the other team, like both teams just miss shots and someone just comes out on top with like a two points or something.
Or you missed a lot of shots, but you happened to make a couple key ones, and that made the difference in the game.
Yeah.
But curling is that way. It's like it matters a lot when you miss.
All right, so you're looking to throw a takeout here?
Fairly open end this end in contrast to last end when there were a lot of rocks in play.
Definitely a lot of weight. It's probably going to, not even going to touch it.
Yeah. Again, throwing real heavyweight takeouts. It's very unforgiving. I mean, the rocks will run fairly straight, and they go where they go, and there's no forgiveness. Whereas if you throw a board weight takeout, you've got a little more tolerance in whether you exactly hit the target.
That's actually a really I guess I'll reference back to when you, Roger, and MJ were teaching me, and one of the hardest things to learn was the different types of takeout weights. I always thought there was just one kind, and it was just really heavy. But then once I learned the control, like what you consider board control weights, and you find out that you can really get like 2 feet of curl, or what's more realistic, 1.5 feet of curl for a control, something like that?
Yeah, I'd say a board weight hit probably curl about a stone, maybe a little more depending on how sharp the rocks are. Hack would probably curl a couple stones.
Yeah.
So, everybody uses words, and they should really use hog-to-hog times, but like a 10 seconds hog-to-hog should curl about 1 stone width, and about 11 seconds hog-to-hog normally curls something like 2 stone widths. And 9 second, 9.5 is kind of what people would call a normal weight takeout, and that would probably curl about 6 inches. Where you put the broom about 6 inches off the rock. Pretty close. Those are really, if you can throw those 3 weights, you can win a lot of games.
Yeah, I definitely, when I learned that I saw the difference, really. You could keep your stones in play. You could look for really good hit and rolls because of, the curl, and you can use your sweepers to prevent it from curling enough or keep it out to roll a good way.
And I think that last one is actually the most important because the down weight shots you can control with the brooms. And I think especially that kind of board or control weight head is, and then here's another, again,
this
really.
Okay.
Again, really heavy weight didn't curl. I mean, you either got to take tighter ice on those or just throw those down a little bit. Keeping your shooters around is really key. We were talking about this in an earlier game. Glenn Howard is kind of one of the prime examples of a guy who hardly ever threw a hit more than board weight unless he had to move a lot of stones. And he made an awful lot of hit and rolls. He was many-time world champion and Canadian champion. And there are a lot of teams, if and of course you can watch curling all you can eat now on YouTube these days. World Curling TV and other places, and watch
Canada, that's mine.
Yeah, watch all these teams throw these downweight hits. That's how they're making those hit and rolls, keeping the shooter around.
I believe Glenn Howard, he won 4 Briars, which is the he won some back in before 2000. But
he won some before he was skipping.
Yeah, that was with his brother Russ Howard. Yeah, but he won 4 Briars, and he won 4 World Championships. So every time he won a Briar, you get qualified for the World Championship, and every time he went there, he got the W. So that's honestly a really good feat to accomplish.
Yeah, he was also a finalist many times, tussling with likes of Kevin Martin, and couldn't get over the hump with him a few of the times. Yeah. It was pretty tough competition.
It is.
In the Furby rink as well.
Furby, he basically almost pioneered, I think, the third throwing third stones and then having a 4th stone thrower, right? Dave Nedelin.
He certainly was one of the first, I think, really well-known teams to skip a team and throw 3rd stones. Dave Nedelin threw his 4th stones and was a really excellent player. Mm-hmm. And I might point out also Crow with a stabilizer. So for those who think you must Crow with a broom, he won. I think they won 4 or 5 Briars or World Championship.
4.
At least 4.
4. Yep.
Yep.
They actually won 3 in a row, and then they won a 4th one.
Well, it should have been 4th in a row, but they lost to Mark Dacey.
Yeah.
But we won't talk about that one.
I really enjoyed that game. One of my most favorite. I think that's the right terminology, but one of the greatest games, I think, in my opinion, ever played.
Certainly was a great one to watch. A little heartbreaking for the Furby rink. Yeah.
That last end was certainly very exciting. If you want to look it up, it's the 2004 the Briar, and
it was the Nokia Briar then, I think.
Oh, it was a Nokia. It wasn't. Yeah. But you can skip all the way to the last end. Dacey was down 3. No, down 2.
He was down 2.
Down 2, but he scored 3, and he certainly did in a good way. His team certainly helped him a lot during that last end, too.
So Cornell's got a good end going here. They've got a couple stones in play, sitting 2. They've got last rock this end. They're kind of looking around, come around. Whoops, let me get my illustrator in control. You're looking to come around and make a little Christmas tree would be really nice here, right? Just kind of get half under.
What the signal he just gave was a raised signal, I believe. So I don't know if that's.
Not sure I need to move that rock. It's in a pretty good position, I think.
If anything, freezing it would be the deepest you would want that stone. But on the nose. Yeah, the Christmas tree. Oh, yeah, you always.
And that's the old Colleen Jones. She's the one that popularized that term. You get half around a rock in the top of the house and half cover a rock in the back of the house. You can't remove any of the rocks and keeping your shooter around. Still looks like a pretty good shot here.
Yep.
Like
trying to freeze it on nose.
Freeze it up. That's not bad. Yep. It'll be tough to get rid of both of them.
Because you had to get to the inside at least. Yeah, and that blue guard's in
they'll never get there with enough weight. Yeah. So.
You kind of coined that term here at our club, and I noticed myself.
There's a lot of players that use it now. But
yeah, I'm one of them. Yeah. I learned it off of you.
But you know what it means. It's a perfect.
It is.
It's really a perfect strategy to use when it's when you've got to cover a rock in the house, but you don't really want to bury a stone, but you just want to half cover it and half get under a guard. Usually when you have a stone that's not really guarded by a guard, but you want to put the guard in play, is you just kind of split the difference between the guard and the stone.
Or if you really, if you need points or you just want to get aggressive, right, where you're scoring.
Yep.
Yeah, that's definitely one. There was a score update on 2. It was Penn 1 scoring 2 over Bowdoin 2.
And
2 points, sorry.
1 ended. So Penn leads Bowdoin 2-0 after 1. We'll do a full set of score updates at
probably when they all post it up. Yeah.
End of this end. We'll take our little tour around the sheets. So RIT is looking to limit the damage here and try to get rid of at least one of those stones on the forefoot. Morgan
needs
Shine
to curl a little bit here. It's going to rotor stone out, I think.
It's going to get 1. And the shooter rolls out, so ideally they wanted to sit right on the nose or very close by, and again throwing that heavy weight allows the shooter to roll away. Now a chance for Cornell to grab a 3 with their last rock. And Tyler Mahler just needs to throw a draw. Doesn't have to do anything fancy. Doesn't have to sneak by the guard. It just needs to touch the rings here. Boy, I'd almost be tempted to come the other way, right?
Yeah, I think so. You have a little bit more. You just
Got
don't
more
want
room,
to
right?
tap that blue stone anywhere to.
You want to stay
you know,
far, far away from that blue
exactly,
stone.
yeah.
You've got a lot of room on this outturned side. But they just did throw this in their defense, so they know the line and they know the...
Definitely just can't be narrow, though. Like, you
Yeah.
can't slide on narrow here, or else there's, you might be in trouble.
Yeah, your pro tolerance here is to be a little on the wide side. And you don't mind being a little heavy here. You don't want to leave this short. You want to make sure you grab your 3.
This weight looks really good.
Looks really good. Just need to touch paint, and that's good enough. And I like that. The sweepers put that right on the tee line. No monkey business. You know, just barely get it into the house. That's how you wind up short sometimes.
Yeah.
If you put that rock on tee line, if you make a mistake, you're short or you're heavy, you got 6 feet of house to play with. So well played in by Cornell, and they grab a 3-1 lead over RIT. Very simple, fairly open end. I mean, that's the way you want to play with a hammer, right?
Yep, definitely. That's probably one of the best things to see as a skip as well. Either you're drawing as the last for your last stone to score multiple points, or
throwing an open hit.
Oh, yeah, throwing an open hit. But sometimes that's too much to ask for. But like I hope you're
6-1, half
this.
dozen the other. You know, if it's you like a simple shot for your
of course.
extra. If you're throwing runbacks as a skip, then you're not doing something right. Somewhere along the way, you're not using the right strategy, or your player's not making too many shots.
Oh, it looks like
let's take a quick tour around the sheets and do
exactly
an update.
what I was going to say. So on sheet 1, RPI 2 scored 1 point. On sheet 2, UPenn scores.
And that game is 1-1 after
4 points.
2, right?
Yes. Should I say the?
Yeah, we give the full score.
Okay. Oh, sure. UPenn scored 4 points, making a score 6-0.
And that's after 2 ends of play.
Yep. And on sheet 3, Villanova 1 scored 1 point, making it 2-0. On sheet 4, Yale 2 scored 3 points, so that makes that score 7-0. We already got sheet 5 for you. So sheet 6, Harvard 1 scored 1 point, so that's 2-0.
Over Colgate 1.
Yep.
And our feature game is 3-1 Cornell over RIT 1. RIT play with the Blue Rocks. We'll have the last rock advantage here in the 3rd end, going away from the glass here at the Utica Curling Club. On a snowy weekend here in Utica. So why don't we do a team introduction. Let's start with Cornell. We haven't heard from them.
Their lead is about to throw, I think, so that's...
Their lead is to Sheng Ma. And I'm trying to read their handwriting here. She's a graduate student in physics from Shenyang, China. And she says hello to everyone. So that includes everyone.
Yeah, that includes you, Roger, and me. I usually don't have friends, so I'm just kidding. Maybe not.
Their second is Brendan Polo. He's a first-year student majoring in math. He's out of Yardley, Pennsylvania. I've flown by that many times, actually. He's been curling for 3 years.
I guess. So.
It's Deshing. She's a first-year curler.
Yeah,
right?
I think that's one. Yeah.
Yep. Jacob Spiegel is Cornell 3rd. He's a junior. And Industrial and Labor Relations. That sounds very complex.
Interesting.
From Newton, Massachusetts, out Boston way. And he's been curling for 6 years. One of the few curlers in the college ranks. Actually had a lot of curling experience. He wants to say hello to Sister Sammy. And finally, Skip Tyler Mahler is a graduate student in chemical engineering. His hometown is in Sacramento, California. He's been curling for 5 years and says hello to brothers Colby and Chandler. And that's Cornell. They actually technically curl out of our club.
Oh, did he? At some point?
Yep, they're members.
Okay, so I guess for the RIT team, at lead we have Emmanuel Papatera. Apologies if I
Yep.
pronounced that wrong. He is a senior and his major is chemical engineering. He is from Wildwood, Maryland, and he's curled for 1.5 years. He would like to say hello to Mr. Boy. Interesting.
That's what it says.
Yep, must be an inside joke. I won't
You write
look
it down,
into
we read it.
Second is Ben Yeager. He is a junior majoring in mechanical engineering. He is from, I want to say that's Wassaic, New York?
Wassaic.
Wassaic.
Yep.
Okay. He's been curling for 4 years, and he would like to say hello to his family and Luke. At third, we have Morgan Shine. He's a junior in mechanical engineering. He's from Newburgh,
Oregon.
Oregon. Oh,
Looks like OR to me.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's Oregon. I just didn't know the abbreviation, so geography skills need a little boost there. He's been curling for 4 years, and you'd like to say hello to Zach and Tommy.
And Morgan's actually throwing fourth rocks tonight and
yes, I
acting
forgot.
as vice skip.
Yep. So I guess the third rock thrower and to skip the game is Joe Urbano. He's a senior in chemical engineering. He's from, I think that's Cheshire, Connecticut. And he has been curling for 1.5 years. He would like to say hello to Roger, who must have been annoyed reading this. So aren't you glad that I'm reading this instead of Roger?
We crossed him up completely there.
All right, I'll just I'll cross that out that right there. I'll let you see that one. And
We gave them a shout out in a previous game, but reintroduced them to everybody.
Oh, so you must have
for this critical game.
So you've read that before, then? The hello.
No,
say
I
hello
didn't
to-
read that
Oh,
before.
okay.
So
Oh, I'm glad you.
that way I wouldn't be annoyed. So. We seem to have the messy ends going away from the glass. A lot of stones in play up front, and Cornell shot rock in the back 8.
Oh, and while everyone is watching, feel free to send in any questions or comments to the live chat here on YouTube. We don't want Ashley to feel alone here with she's the only one saying stuff. So.
And Ben Yeager just missed, almost perfect draw to come around to the Cornell stone in the back of the house, just clipped the guard. This is a pretty aggressive call here. I really can't tell who shot, but no, they are going to chase. I was going to say, I wondered if they really should be chasing off the blue stone. They're going to come inside out at this.
Could get a nice hit and roll, but this might overcurl on them. Definitely looks like it's already doing that.
Yeah, they may get a piece. They're holding it pretty well.
Oh, it's right on the nose. Interesting.
They held it pretty well.
Yeah, they really did.
Successfully removed, and looks like they're 1-2.
They are 1-2, yeah.
Just nibble a piece of the 8-foot there with that takeout attempt. And the downside is that RIT will have a hit and roll available here. I thought maybe they would come outside in and try to get the inside roll.
Yeah,
the long roll to the inside, right? I mean, it's a tough shot, but, you know, if you make it, you make it. If you don't, you're still shot rock in the back.
Right. Yeah, I would throw this way if it's just okay. Piece changing.
You're going to change it around. Yeah, I like the outside in. For one thing, that's a deader roll, right? As you cross over, you reverse handle when you strike this rock, and so that will go straighter across. Whereas if you come this inside route, it tends to go back a little bit. It has that little gear effect.
Yeah. Those are important in shots like in-offs and, well, actually, yeah, mainly in-offs.
And even just ordinary hit and rolls, depending on where you need to roll.
Oh, yeah, true.
If you need the flat roll, you want to cross over.
A lot of weight here, so we'll see if he gets a good angle. I think they need to stop sweeping this.
Going to hit it pretty thin, and it's going to hit and roll out. Just over curled a bit. It's a tough shot. They were playing for a very long roll under the center guard.
Or actually, it could have been possible that they were calling for the double, but obviously I don't know what the. But
I think that's a tough shot. I mean, I might call it as a plan
B.
Plan D.
Oh, plan D.
I'd be down my list. That's pretty thin.
That is true, yeah.
Well, now a chance for Cornell to bring one right around and sit 1-2 again, make it a little better. This is third Jacob Spiegel. And wrecked and raised a blue stone in, not for shot stone though. Just over curled on them. All right, team needs to get one in. They need to play this in-turn draw. They need to stick one on the forefoot here.
Yeah, and even if they don't entirely bury it, it won't be that bad, because if Cornell chooses to hit the stone, they might jam it under back redstone, depending on how much of an angle they give them to hit the stone. So obviously, number one priority is just to make sure you get it there first, and then dealing with the implications later.
Well, at least if you're short, you can use it. If you go behind T-line, it's not terribly useful. Here's Joe Urbano. Morgan indicating it's a little wide.
It does have a little bit of weight on it, so hopefully it might slow down on the outside path.
Curling hard there. Of course, there's a lot of curl on that side of the sheet. But I think that's going to go right to the back.
Yep.
Going to join his buddy in the back and click off of it. So draw weight, drawing to the forefoot around this side has proved to be elusive for both teams. Now it's going to be up to Tyler Mahler to see if he can get around. Show his teammates how to make that shot.
You just got to do stuff yourself sometimes. You just.
And that's why they pay the skips the big bucks, right?
Sometimes as a skip, you're just like, oh, man, I wish I could just throw all 8 stones at this point. But, no, that's just a joke we say sometimes. We definitely love our teammates. It's to a certain extent.
On our Canadian tour we were on, we had one team that was struggling early in the tour, and somebody asked the skip, is there anything he could do to help improve his team's results? And he said, yes, if I can throw 6 stones. He was a little frustrated early in the tour. Once he got to know his teammates, they did a lot better.
Yeah, that was the Can-Am tour, right?
Right.
Yeah. And do you want to talk a little bit about that for the?
Well, it was a great trip. It'll happen every 5 years, and of course they'll be sending Canadians our way in 5 years to do the same thing. We're up there for 18 days. We curled at. We were scheduled to curl at 24 different clubs. 2 of them had ice issues, so it was only 22, which was probably a blessing. And about 16 days altogether of non-travel days. So pretty much 2 games a day every day for a better part of 2.5 to 3 weeks. So it was a bit of a grind, but it was a lot of fun. We played in a different club every game, so you learn new rocks and new ice every game. The sheds were anywhere from 50 degrees to 20.
20?
So you never
Really?
knew how cold they were going to be or how warm.
Fahrenheit, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And
okay.
the ice ran from anywhere from, probably the slowest we played on was about 22 seconds to 26 and a half. So, and pretty much everywhere we went, the rocks curled. Everyone had freshened up the rocks. It was their opening, their opening weeks up there. It was early November and throughout the month of November.
Yeah.
So everywhere we went, they had fresh rocks. They had just touched them up. So they curled pretty well. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. You guys eventually ended up winning the thing.
We did. We
Yes.
won it on the last day. It was looking kind of bleak with 2 days to go with the Total Rocks event. We were down 40 rocks going into the last 4 games. And we somehow made out that deficit in 3 days, and we went into the last day up 2. And we finished up 10 on the entire tour. And that's a 10 rock difference out of 1,200 stones. Over 1,200 stones.
Over
so
12. Oh, okay.
Very close event altogether. It was definitely a fun event.
You were invited to it, correct?
Yeah, you had to apply, and then you had to pay your own way as well. But everyone on that tour was volunteer for either their local curling club or USA Curling. Club presidents, professional ice makers who make ice for championship events, people who have started clubs. So actually a very illustrious group of volunteers were on the trip. It was kind of humbling to see all the really wonderful people there, including a couple of volunteers of the year for USA Curling.
They are the backbone of everything.
Yeah, people who make curling clubs run all around the country, and so it was really great.
Well, let's see if the situation has developed in a way.
Well, Cornell did manage to get around, but they came all the way to the back, and so there's really nothing terribly threatening in the house. There's that lonely rock in the back 8, and someone needs to draw around above T-line.
Yeah. If Cornell get a really good stone here and block up this left side, I mean,
They
looks
could,
like
they
RT,
could steal the end, yeah.
Yeah, RT probably their only shot would be the right side. Blue Rays looks like if Cornell makes a really nice shot here.
Yep. Anywhere above T-line would be just really golden.
2 things with 1 stone, right? I mean, you could throw it top 4 or top 8, and also have it counting as shot stone, a shot or second, whatever, if you count your own stone. And then it also blocks up their draw path to do the same thing.
Yep. Yeah, it's a dual-purpose shot, and you'd like to sit 2 here and force RIT to play the raise tap against 2. Always look to pressurize your opponent. This one looks pretty heavy as well. Just wonder if the ice has really picked up now. They've been down this path a few times. And this one's going to be on the back as well. So that's going to give a free pass to RIT to at least get their single.
It might actually sit second. I think that's second shot.
Yeah,
But I mean, not.
I think you're right.
Yeah, but
so they're 1 and 2. I think they were 1 and 2 before.
actually no.
Oh, they were
I
maybe
think,
a little too far back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Definitely. The top 12 stone for the blue team was definitely outcounting it, but
Well, they're 1 and 2 now for sure. So this will looks to get a force.
yeah. And those sometimes are some of those mental game. Even though it's not, it's in the 12-foot, right? You can definitely outdraw that pretty easily. But it's just there in the skip's mind. It's like, oh, if I miss this, I'm giving up that extra point, right? So.
Well, the worst thing you can do here is think you have backing, because if you come to the back stone, you're giving
yeah,
up a steal anyway. This is just a straight draw to the 4-foot. You just want to grab full 8 somewhere, and that'll get you out of trouble here. I think Cornell will be happy to get the force. They missed an opportunity to get a steal if they could have placed a rock perfectly, but
Sweepers are on it early. Oh, no.
yeah, it just came up light.
Yep, so that redstone will actually count, I believe.
And that's just unusual because Morgan has been money pretty much all weekend in our previous game. I don't think he hardly missed a shot. Very unfortunate miss, so that's a steal of 2 for Cornell, and that extends their lead to 5-1 after 3 ends of play.
Yep, and looks like every sheet is starting their 4th end.
So let's take a tour around the sheets and update our scores. So on sheet 1.
On sheet 1, RPI 1 scored, no, RPI 2 scored 1 point, so score is now 2-1 RPI.
Over MIT.
Yeah, over MIT. T2.
And that's after 3 ends of play. Yep.
On sheet 2, Bowdoin 2 scored 2 points, makes that score 6-2. On sheet 3, Villanova 1 scored 2 points, 4-0 is the score there.
Over Penn State 1.
Yep. On sheet 4, Yale 2 scored, SUNY Poly 1 scored 2 points. That makes it Yale 2, 7, SUNY Poly 1, 2. On sheet 6, Colgate 1 scored 1 point, and that makes it Harvard 1, 2 to Colgate 1, 1. That was a very
and also
weird
after
twister.
3 ends of play.
Yep.
All right, in our feature game, Cornell leads 5-1 after that steal of 2. RIT with the Blue Rocks will have the last rock advantage here in the 4th end to bring us halfway home. Too early to get complacent. I mean, 4 points is a fairly good lead and puts you in control, but a lot of ends to play here.
Oh yeah, you can never get too comfortable. I mean, actually, my good buddy, Blake Hagberg, he's a good friend of mine. We crow together on Wednesdays. I remember our first Wednesday night league. It was against you, Roger, and we were up, I think, 4 or 5 at one point, pretty late in the game, and you guys actually came back in the game, scored the points you needed, and tied up the game in the last end, and then your team played really well there, and then you made a really nice draw, I think, probably on the 4-foot, and you guys eventually got the game. So I, for one, definitely can say that it's a lead like 4 points is definitely not safe. So be careful out there.
Yeah, and if you do get a lead, make sure you keep it clean and don't let too many rocks build up. Hey, you guys outplayed my team pretty much the whole game.
Yeah, but
we're a little lucky to come back. I think one end got away from you.
Yeah.
Is the difference.
That's all it takes sometimes.
We
it really does.
We got even, which was for us was a moral victory. And we've seen a couple comebacks today. Syracuse got a really huge lead in their last game today. They were up 7, and then all of a sudden they were only up 3 with a couple ends to play, and they were actually even chasing a bit.
Oh, wow.
They came back to win the game handily, but they can turn around quickly.
Who was that against? Do you know?
It was in their last game. They played a very good team. I think they played another. Did they play RPI? RIT, I can't remember.
Oh, it was RPI. I remember.
It was
yep,
RPI.
Yep, I saw.
Oh, no, RIT. No, that's not right.
Yeah.
Who did they play?
I think it was on the board.
They played A7. Yeah, it was RPI 1. It was the Doncaster team, which is a very good team. They were on the wrong side of the inch, I think, almost the whole game. So RIT is chasing already in this first end. Cornell with a rock almost on the top 4 and center guarded. And they have RIT peeling the guards. They didn't quite get that guard out of play, and so Cornell's actually still sitting 2 with a chance to guard. This is always a great opportunity. Is you got a freebie guard here. You don't have to worry about chasing an opponent's rock. You're already sitting 2 if you guard the 1. You're still 1-2 if you miss the guard. So this is kind of a no-risk chance to steal. No opposition rocks in play in the rings.
Yep, definitely has to make it pretty good, though. I would say he can. Well, this one's coming in.
Looks like they're going to freeze right up to it.
If it's nose, it will be really good.
Doubles there, but
I probably wouldn't throw the double. I would try to see if I could leave one of the stones behind the shooter that you're about to throw, because you need to score some points here, and if you're just going to trade, or you're just going to
roll
trade
behind the corner,
roll or leave one of the red stones in behind your stone as like a backer, so to speak, or else Cornell will just take out your stone if there's nothing behind it, or if it's open as well. If you don't get roll,
or you could just tap them to the back is the other option. Is and something like that actually is not terrible. Now they've got Cornell behind T-line behind the corner guard, so that can now be a freeze target. You can get a stone around that corner. It would be very difficult to remove. But RIT's got a lot of work to do to set up a score this end. They're facing 2 Cornell stones in the rings. Soon to be 3 if they can make this hit.
This one,
there's that high weight takeout again. Got a little wide. Noodled it over a little bit, but didn't change much.
Definitely helps RIT, though. Setting second shot, and you could freeze to this first and then tap it out later, or you could choose to tap it out right now and sit 2. Either one works. Probably they're looking for the freeze though.
Yeah, good to keep a rock in play. I mean, with the corner guard and the freeze, you've got guard and backing, so that's almost ideal. You could pile a lot of stones behind that corner. And as you say, if you want to at some point, you could throw a heavier weight shot and just tap out the backing.
Yeah, and it will be angled, right? So you almost can just hit your own stone anywhere, and it would do a trick.
Yep, anywhere on the high side. And this looks like a really good shot. Can't do much better than that.
Good freeze, a good angle.
I think Cornell is just they should really try to run it off. They may lose their backing, but I think you got to get rid of those 2 stones. I'd be tempted to come right down and double those out.
Let's see. We got a few more shout-outs from Ashley Paul here. Go Syracuse, go Orange. And she also says, Dan says hi to Evan Mullaney.
Not sure Evan's on, but if he's around.
Well, if you're here, Dan Coletta would like to say hi to you, Evan. So I would also like to say hi to you, Evan, as well. We missed our competition days, man.
Well, you just have to go find him on the Bonspiel circuit.
Yeah, probably. Maybe if I've just become less lazier, perhaps, but.
So yeah, Cornell's going to chase off the open stone.
I don't think this has enough weight.
Just enough weight. They didn't get it out. They didn't get it out.
But actually, is it out counting that red stone on the side?
Well, let's take a look and see.
That's going to be very important. It looks like it is.
It is. And in fact, it outcounts this stone. Outcounts that one.
Yep. That might be important.
That could be a mistake that they'll wish they hadn't made, because this red rock is in a very precarious position. That can be removed any time that RIT wants it to go away. So now Joe Urbano is going to be looking to remove the red stone in the 12-foot. Again, just toss this one wide and a little bit heavy.
Yep, could be a way out here for Cornell after a few missed shots. If you get the freeze here, pretty much almost nullifies the corner freeze on that that RIT made.
Want to get close to nose, though, I think.
Even if you tap and separate that those two stones, that it won't be horrible as well.
Yeah, the backing doesn't matter so much as getting the right line on this freeze. They're having to go for weight to get it there. Well, if they can get it there, this is a pretty good shot. It's not a bad shot where they left it. It is a little short, but it's at least solid, solid third. So now Cornell is sitting second and third. That takes a little bit of the danger away from the end.
The ideal shot, and it's actually definitely makeable, is you hit their red onto the right side of your blue stone, and it'll run both the red stones out. But that's what I would do. But obviously, you know, it's a hard shot to make. You got to get the right line.
But you could hit this right on the nose, right?
Yeah, the nose, and then
the blue's not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
If you hit the blue stone thin enough, the red backing goes away, and the rock you hit will go away as well.
Yep. And you will outcount the stone in the top 12 on the left side as well, so you'll be sitting 2.
Could also mess that up very easily if you hit it a little bit on the high side and you take
out
out your blue stone, right?
Yeah. But honestly, if you're down some points, you do have to take those risks sometimes.
They're down 4, so again, just heavy again.
Yeah,
losing their shooters.
I don't know if they were they probably weren't looking at the that in off and hitting the.
I think they were looking to hit and roll. I'm not sure they're trying to play the in off.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Trying to hit and roll under. So once again. So Cornell with a 4-point lead. They just need to make sure they don't drop a bucket load of points here. Question is where to put your next stone. Don't want to make it easy for RIT. I mean, they're going to draw the 4-foot for their second shot. They're going to try to get at least a deuce out of this. They're going to have to draw the 4.
And looks like is it skip stones?
They're thinking about putting a guard here maybe on the top 8, but does that help, I guess, is the question.
Yeah, I'm not sure. If they don't, here's the thing. If they don't outcount that stone in the back 12, that shot that we were talking about earlier,
this one's a problem.
Yeah.
Right?
If you don't outcount that stone right there, then RIT will have that run back into the
They can run this one, right?
Mm-hmm. And that where the red will roll, it should just avoid the blue stone, I think, in the back 12 if you hit it at the right angle.
That would be ideal.
Yeah.
Not easy to get there. I mean, you gotta come by your red guard. That would be nearly perfect. I think they're looking to come here. I don't think I want to be even. That leaves a double. Let's see how they play this. And this one's moving fast. Is it going to check up?
Oh, no.
Went all the way to the back 12. I think they're out counting that stone, though.
I think blue still got it. Well, we'll wait for them to give us a view here.
To wait for Joe to move out of the way. Yeah.
Oh no, you're right. Yep, you're right.
So mission accomplished, kind of.
Yep. It does do something. It does help you.
Well, so now they're 2, 3, and 4, right?
Yep.
So that they've got to get RIT's got to get rid of 3 stones now to score to bring this guy into play. So it kind of takes 3 off the table, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Now the question is, where does RIT go? Maybe they try to sneak one around that red stone in the top 8. All right, maybe they try to go in there, right?
Perhaps, yeah.
And that's your only chance, I think, to try to score 3.
Yeah, even if you actually do tap back that red stone that he just threw, sit the extra stone, you might have a chance to go for that run back and score a really big end. But obviously Cornell still has 1 shot after this, though, so they can.
Yeah, they're probably not going to give you a free pass.
No, definitely not. No. One can only hope, though, if you're down by a lot of points.
Yeah, you're hoping for some misses to capitalize on. This looks like a pretty good stone if it sits top 4. Just need to tuck under a hair.
Wow.
And they're just a little behind tee, but that's really not a bad shot. It's going to force Cornell to make a tough one. They can see about, 3/4 of the stone from our camera angle.
Yeah.
So,
but they have to be careful if they're going to take it out, they have to be careful not to make RIT's shot for them.
absolutely.
Although
I think if you hit their red, you're teeing them up for a big end.
Yeah.
And if you run their red stone onto one of your blues, I think that could be difficult. I think they're just looking to maybe freeze on this, or are they trying to throw a lightweight takeout? They're taking a lot less ice than RIT did. This is Tyler Mahler's last stone. 1 more to come this end, as RIT has the last rock here in the 4th end. Sweepers went on early and then decided maybe not.
This one's curling nicely. Oh, you got to get past that red stone.
Yeah, and it's going to bounce.
So,
RIT sitting 2 here. I think, can't they come off this red stone and score 3? Let's take a
I think they can simply just actually throw the straight hit on that red stone and try to roll a little bit.
Yeah, I think they can just roll into the 4-foot, right?
And you also have that, if you're hit it thin, you still have that pile potentially as a plan B to roll on to redirect your stone onto. I think that's the best shot.
Maybe throw a lighter weight shot, not real heavy takeout weight.
Yeah.
Maybe just throw through the rings weight.
Exactly.
And just try to
roll to where you want it first.
They would call that a chap and lie, right? You just want to kind of rub off that stone.
Yeah.
You're going to push that red stone back just a little bit. You need to make sure it goes back to the 8-foot.
Yeah. And you also have to make sure your stone does roll enough, though, because of that side red stone.
Yeah, it needs to at least touch the 4. They're looking to see if they're already sitting 2, and I'm not sure.
I think
they may only be sitting 1. I think they're going to go for it. They're going to play.
They're going for it.
It looks like they're going to throw fairly heavy weight, though. And they're going to come the in-turn direction to get a little more spin off the stone.
It's also very important that the skip in the 3rd, they talk about the plan Bs before throwing the stone, so that everyone's on the same page, just in case you don't know what the 3rd is calling sweep for. They're calling for a plan B.
Always have a plan for if you're a little wide, a little narrow, a little heavy, a little light.
Curling is usually just plan B shots, like mostly, unless you're the Canadian. So
you need to adjust. I mean, even the Canadians are Even the top teams are very aware of how to make
Pro misses.
pro
as they call it.
misses. Yeah.
Definitely not narrow, though, I think.
That was curling up nice.
They're going to have to look for that. I think
This looks close.
roll into the pile. Oh.
And it just, again, that is the weight, right?
Yeah, I think so.
With board weight and the right ice that maybe hangs around, or a hack weight, right?
Yeah.
It's just that heavy weight. You can't keep the shooter.
With that weight right there, they had to look for probably to roll on top of their pile, but they just need to hit that little thinner. That was close.
A little thinner or a lot thicker, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, if they want to stick around, they needed to hit it thin enough
Yep.
to roll onto their blue rock in the back. So, but I think that's a deuce. I'm going to ring it up as a deuce. That looked like two to me.
That was two. Looks like all sheets have put up the score for their fourth.
All right, so let's make a run around the sheets and update the scores. So on sheet 1.
On sheet 1, RPI 2 scored 1 point. That makes it 3 to 1 against RIT. No, MIT. Sorry.
Yep. And that's after 4 ends of play.
UPenn scored 2 points, so that makes that score 8 to 2 against Bowdoin 2. On sheet 3, Villanova 1 scored 1 point, so that's 5 to 0 against Penn State 1. Sheet 4 actually did not update their score yet, so we'll get that to you later. Sheet 6, pretty close game actually. Colgate 1 scored 1 point, so that makes it tied at 2 points against Harvard 1.
All right, and that brings us up to date. And it's the 4th end break. That means that we can acknowledge our sponsors for the UCC 2020 version College Bonspiel, assuming I can find our sponsorship sheet. There it is. So this event is not possible without our sponsors, especially keeping everybody fed, apparently, from reading our sponsor list. So our sponsors for the 2020 UCC College Bonspiel are Duncan of Hamilton, Hannaford's of Clinton, Hannaford's of New Hartford, Hamilton Whole Foods, and Price Chopper of Hamilton. We appreciate them supporting college curling in Central New York and here at the Utica Curling Club, and appreciate their support. So with that deuce, RIT's back in the game here, now only down 2. Cornell's got the hammer here in the 5th end.
Yep. And you know, just one steal, one or something, all of a sudden it makes it back to a pretty close game. Definitely put some pressure back onto Cornell. Don't want to let them sit too comfortably for too long.
Yeah, so RIT is going to have to go hard for a steal here. They are still down, and they're without hammer now. Unfortunately, they brought that one into the rings to hold the line, and it did over curl, so now there's an opportunity for Cornell to remove some stones. I'm a little surprised they're not having their lead hit here. Maybe an inexperienced lead.
I think that's the call, actually. Oh, no, sorry, I lied. I thought I was rotating the other way.
Yeah, he's called to draw for the lead to draw out to the opposite wing. So that's Deshing Ma. And just a little bit heavy. Well, now a chance for RIT to make some trouble here with the guard.
What we don't see enough here in college curling, though, is the bailout peel shots. You gotta a lot of schools, they tend to avoid hitting those guards because they think they maybe can't, or it's just they think they can get a draw around or something. But it's even though if it seems like I remember when I started and I thought peel shots were completely useless. I honestly did. But then I found out at one point it's like, wait a second. Why is the other team getting like 4 stones in the house and I can't do anything about it? And it's like then I found out the importance of them.
And you don't have to throw a lot of weight to throw effective peels. I mean, you can even throw a peel with board weight as long as you ice your players appropriately. And the key is just to make sure you don't hit a full rock. You just hit a portion of a rock, half a rock, or a third of a rock. And then move it off the center line. Move it out of the way.
And sometimes it could help actually if it does roll. If you have hammer and you roll it as a corner guard for you, two shots with 1 stone.
Yep.
Oh, real quick on sheet 4, SUNY Poly 1 scored 1 point, making that score Yale 2 7, SUNY Poly 1 3.
And 4 ends down for them.
And we're officially caught up.
RIT replacing the guard. And I would expect Brendan Polo here to get rid of the guard.
Looking for a freeze.
Looking for a freeze. Boy, that's playing with fire, I think.
I think that's what I was just saying is that they don't it's like they're kind of scared to like just call that peel shot, even though it's like probably the one thing you want to go for. So we'll see how it turns out for them. Oh, looks like Ashley Paul got a friend in the chat there. Wear Me Wang. I wonder who that is.
And this one's going to come up light, and it's going to wreck on the guard. And, well, it's game on now. A lot of clutter up there. RIT sitting 2 on the 4-foot.
Yeah. But Cornell definitely have a good, control stone, I would call it. You can run that back if you want to. RIT might be scared to take that out right now because they're scared of jamming it.
I think they'll just guard it.
Yeah, I think you could guard it.
They're looking at hitting. If they hit, they got to make sure they cross over.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, if you're trying to steal, I'd be tempted just to guard it. I mean, that Cornell has some tough choices, and they haven't run their blue guard yet, or run the blue guard off yet, and it's a little harder now with a bunch of red catchers behind it, right?
I think this he does throw heavier weight here, so I was about to question the broom here, but
They haven't swept yet.
That's going to curl.
And they did get to the inside, but they rolled away. Didn't really harm their chances all that much.
Back to square one, I think.
Just back to the status quo, and so Cornell has a decision to make again. Are they peeling the guard, or are they playing the freeze? I think with a 2-point lead, I'm peeling the guard all day long.
Wish we could tell them things, but we can't, obviously.
Make them make RIT throw the guard a few times, and not easy to throw good guards, especially on curly ice. I think at some point, you know, down the road, they're going to leave you a better shot at those two stones than they are now. Cornell's going to try the freeze again. If they make the shot, it's a great shot.
It's also a very hard shot, though.
It is very difficult.
Yeah.
So RIT's in a situation. They're throwing easy shots, guards, and Cornell's throwing tough shots, you know, freezes. So you got to like those percentages. And this one's heavy. They probably need to come up.
Needs to curl, too. It's curling nicely, but
it's going to bounce, and didn't want to bounce. Well, it's not too bad. It actually died just at the right time. So that's in a great position.
Yeah,
I think you could double those two out and sit right there.
Looks like he wants to call the freeze on that stone.
You could
though.
freeze. You'd be above tee.
Freeze on the outside.
You could freeze right in a pocket.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Either one. If you put it in a pocket, I don't see how you get it out. So, you may not be shot if you're in a pocket, though. Yeah.
You have to maybe tap it back and do two things at once.
So he's got to be a little bit on the inside, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, either that or you have to be a little heavier and then just tap it back and then roll
come into the pocket and push it back a little bit.
And then you will be shot.
The other option is just to, get rid of them both.
Yeah.
And then sit right there.
You might actually sit flat side to side with your other blue stone if you do that, which might not be bad because then you no pocket anymore.
Joe Urbano looking to freeze. This one's over curling.
Oh, they got to go for the line here.
And it's light.
I think they reverse handle.
And it lost the handle as well. So slide path might be getting a little flat too here in the fifth end. Now Cornell's got one. They can start to thinking about how they're going to get a deuce out of this. And they try to come around right now.
From the looks of it, I think there's only two close games, I would say. Actually, well, our feature sheet is got pretty close as well, but looks like sheet 1 and sheet 6, since they're tied up. Actually, well, I'll score update in a second, but they're tied up, which is a pretty close game. Every other game is kind of like one team's like definitively ahead. I think that's the right word. I'm not sure.
Yeah, there are a few games that are getting out of reach. Looks like Morgan Shine is looking at a run back here to remove that frozen red stone. He's going to try to run that blue rock right into the pocket. So I think they're looking at, whoops, draw my line straight, looking to run this one into the pocket here.
I actually wouldn't even mind running the one on the blue rock on the side, but that does maybe leave it more open for Cornell if you, depending on the angle, you have to hit it.
This looks pretty close.
Overcurled a little bit.
Yeah, it did. Just over curled. Well, that opens up the 4 foot now for Cornell to throw another freeze on. Now they can get into the pocket for shots. Skip Tyler Mahler with his first stone. Looking to freeze on top of his freeze. Oh, the line is terrific if they can get by, but I think they're going to wreck on the guard.
Wreck a little bit. Still okay, though.
Still okay. They didn't hurt the chance for getting a deuce here. It's kind of tough to run those blue stones back the way they're angled. There is a direct run back on the middle blue there, though. And this is the last rock for RIT, so they want to prevent the deuce. That's maybe the shot. The only question is, can you miss this in such a way to double out your own blues? That would be unfortunate. I think it's fairly unlikely.
Yeah, I think
you're gonna have to hit it pretty high.
Yeah, if you're coming from this side, this is also the straight side, so your chances of you hitting the outside, the right side, is pretty high. And
on the other hand, you don't want to open this up for Cornell. They can double your blues out if you give them an open look at it.
Mm-hmm.
So another run back attempt by Morgan Chine. And that'll be on the outside. Now an interesting decision for Cornell. Now, do you ever come through the hole and just double those blues out?
I wouldn't mind that if I was Cornell.
The only thing you got to watch out for is jamming that blue into your red. But that's a fairly straightforward double, I think.
Yeah, just anywhere nose.
Right on the nose.
They probably just don't want to ruin, because they're already shot, they just probably just don't want to ruin that situation.
And they could draw a good piece of the forefoot for their deuce here.
Last stone, correct?
That's an awfully tasty looking four if you can get to the nose.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even look at that, actually.
Got those two biters they can bring into play.
Oh, man, I actually would have went for the double then, yeah, if I just didn't know they were.
You don't get those opportunities every end. I think when you see those, if they're not too risky, you should try to take them.
Mm-hmm.
And this one's going to over curl.
Yeah.
Not going to be far enough. That'll only be a single for Cornell, but they do hold a commanding lead, 6-3. That's after 5 ends of play.
Yep. And I guess we can go down the list once again.
Sure.
So on sheet 1, MIT 2 scored 2 points, so that makes it tied at 3 against RPI 2. On sheet 2, UPenn scored 5 points, so that is 13-2 against Bowdoin 2. On sheet 3, Villanova 1 stole another 1 point, so that's 6-0 against Penn State 1. On sheet 4, Yale 2 took 3 points, so that's 10-3 against SUNY Poly. And on sheet 6, Harvard 1 took 2 points, so that's 4-2 against Colgate 1. And all of these are after 5 ends.
Yeah, so our feature matchup is one of the closest games out here, and it is the game for the #1 seed in Pool B for the championship playoff. Sixth end, RIT1 is down 3 now against Cornell. They do have the last rock that's end.
Definitely have to get a corner guard here.
And I think this is a must-score end for RIT.
I think so. Get one more chance at hammer, perhaps, in the 8th end.
Even if you just get one, you've got to get at least one here.
Yeah.
Preferably a deuce. If you could get a deuce, a force, and another deuce, then you're caught up, right?
Yep. And I actually learned that from you, the hammer strategy, where you want to get the hammer in the even ends. Because ideally, then by the end of the game, the very last end, if you're down 1, but when you have the hammer, you're in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, very important to see if you can arrange your strategy so that you have the hammer in the even ends late. And that gives you a hammer advantage over your opponents, if you're in the 5th end in an 8-end game. And you want to have the hammer in the 6th so that you got 2 hammers to your opponent's 1.
Yep.
Of course, you can't be too choosy if you're down.
Yeah. Try to score points every single way.
You just have to score.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you have, hammer or not hammer.
The main thing is you don't have to get it all back this end. If you score a deuce here, then you get a force, a deuce win, gets you back in the tie game. Gives you a chance to win in an extra.
But this stone is a little bit heavy, so that's okay. Still have a lot more stones to throw. But there is that center guard that actually RT through. Probably not what they want, but it might be okay if they cover up the 4-foot first.
Yeah, they have to get there first if you're going to have the center guard.
Yeah.
It looks almost backwards here. We've got RIT with the center guard and Cornell with the corner guard. You'd almost expect those colors to be reversed, given the hammer situation. And Cornell is very happy to use that center guard to come around.
Well, it looks really close. I think they need to sweep this.
Yeah, it's just not going to finish. They might want to leave it as a guard.
Okay, Cornell electing to hit and roll, it looks like, from the signal that he's giving. I would almost be tempted to come the other way, though, once again. But we'll see if this works out for him.
Depends on where the player can hit the broom out here. So with some less experienced curlers, I've come this way with them, but it does put a little more pressure on you to figure out the ice for that inside-out curl. And that inside-out curl can be quite severe.
This is like good control up type weight.
This is nice weight. It's not overthrown. They can control that with the broom, and it's good solid board weight. Good smack on the rock, but a little bit of curl. Accomplished the main goal, which was to remove the blue stone.
You're still ahead by 3. Definitely still just want to keep it clean if you can.
You'd be happy to give up 1 here and get the hammer back in the 7th end if you're a Cornell. And be up 2. They may get a better roll on this. Not quite. Oh, looked like that might hold, but
It took a dive at the very end.
yeah, it's still wide open. Well, either way, it's got to go. Going to come inside out again. This is going to run a little straighter here, but he's starting to move now.
Yep.
Oh, making
Oh,
a
no.
hard
I
move.
think it's going to, yeah.
A little on the light side, I think. He's going to get a piece, and the question is, does he have enough weight to remove it from play? And not enough.
That might have.
That was just down weight.
But puts RT Stone in the back 4 area. But RT is in a decent spot right now, considering they didn't touch the center guards or anything, but they had that stone there now. So just throw it around top 4, top 8, buried, and
Yep.
you
They
have a
should
pretty
get
good
really
situation.
aggressive. I mean, they're calling for a guard.
Is that what they said?
Yeah, guard here, top 12. I think you go aggressive. You go right into the top 4. There's no reason to. I mean, you've got.
Yeah, there's no reason for them
you
to
got the last
skip
rock,
them to
right?
draw. Yeah.
Go right in. Then you can stick another one in after that one. Give yourself a little room.
Yeah, and you bury it too. I mean, you force them to throw some.
They'll have to throw a freeze to cut down the rings,
freezes,
right?
or if they don't throw the draw perfect, they leave out in the open, and you can just open hit for a potential multiple scoring end.
And what you don't want to be is behind T line. And this
one might be behind you.
That one's headed there. And they're sitting 1 and 2, but the door is open for Cornell to hook one around those center guards above T.
Well, that didn't probably the second best place that it ended up. Probably the third. The other one would be like maybe a top 12. But at the very least, the Cornell can't use that as a like a backing stone or a hit and roll stone.
Right.
Yeah, and you're still counting.
It ups the ante for Cornell to get one around here. And they just got around. They need to come up. Boy, they just squeaked that by. They're going to bounce a little bit. Cornell a second shot, but
Yeah, you can throw if you want to throw it now, I guess you can throw it a hack later. But ideally, you might want to try to control that top 4 area first, and then go for that after.
yeah, if you hit that rock behind T-line, they're just going to freeze to the pocket.
Exactly.
So you need to gain control of the 4 foot above T-line now. That rock isn't getting any better, and if you make this draw, you can always remove that stone with your last rock. This is what some of the newer skips forget, is you don't have to be shot rock right now, or you don't have to be sitting the score that you want to make right now.
Yeah.
You need to get the end set up so that you control the critical parts of the scoring area. And in this case, you need to be above tee somewhere, at least partially buried.
Oh, no, this one looks heavy and wide.
And threw this out wide.
So we'll see what Cornell does with this.
You need to take a little more ice, or I don't know if they've been getting out to the broom, but boy, they just squeaked by. If they didn't have to beat that stone up to get it by, the weight might have been just right. So here we go, big shot for Cornell. They have a comfort of knowing their second stone, but they'd love to get shot stone here to keep RIT from scoring a multiple end. Seems like that broom ought to be almost out on the 8-foot. All the way at the edge, right?
At the edge, yeah. I think so. Does it run straight on this side coming back, the same side?
Yeah, this is a little straighter, I guess.
Okay. Because I know it's straight going the outer way, though.
They've wrecked every time they've come around.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this one's just hot. And you get too far out, it doesn't curl, especially with any weight. This is back rings weight.
Yeah.
Smartly,
they did check
they're
up a little bit.
Yeah, smartly they are bringing that back. You don't want to leave one on the tee. Well, they left that kind of in an awkward spot.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty easy hit and roll now for RIT. Or they could just draw around again here too. Although the danger is if you draw around here, I think Cornell can come off their own to the back four and cut you down. So I think they need to get rid of this first, huh?
Yeah, I think so.
Even though you're going to be behind tee line if they, when they make this. So yeah, you can hit here, but you're going to be like on or behind the tee line.
It still gives them a shot to throw the draw on top of it.
So they'll be able to draw on top of you and at least cut the scoring area down pretty substantially.
You're still sitting shot
it.
stone, right? So definitely still want to do the same game plan. Just draw, try, get top four, sit another stone in, and worry about those later if you need to.
So Morgan Shine going for the gusto here. This one's curling.
Oh, need to calm down and wait here.
And you'll come to the back red. Now they're sitting two, but they left a juicy pocket.
Yeah. It looks like we got our first final. I think on sheet 4, Yale 2 wins over SUNY Poly 1. I think they shook in the 6th. It looks like they didn't hang that.
So let's call it a 10-3 final.
Yep.
In our first final of the evening.
Unfortunately, that's my.
Yeah. So. Cornell can just come down and just throw a draw and tap and roll into this region, right? I mean, they've got backing.
Yeah, you got backing. You can come a little heavier. Although, if you have that in the back of your head, you just gotta know not to throw, hack weight or something. No, not hack weight. I mean a takeout shot, right? Just because you can come heavier.
If you throw back 8 weight here, you're fine. You're
exactly.
Even if you come off your own stone, I think you're going to be in good shape. Right? The only thing you can't do is throw a flyer here.
Yeah. And all it is really just maybe a small extra push on the end, not come with takeout weight, just to make sure it's there.
And just make sure you get by. Got to be there.
This one is.
This is money
by.
if they're by.
I think it's by.
This is
very
money.
Close. Oh, look at that.
Oh man, they just haired.
Oh,
the
shot
guard.
stone.
Just haired the guard in there, shot stone.
That is a
and
great shot.
In the pocket. Beautiful shot.
And that was Tyler Muller throwing that shot under pressure. That was, I think, his last stone of the end.
This is a tough get. I don't think you can score.
Definitely had to take a deep breath for that one, I think, before he threw that.
And he didn't get by much.
No, definitely not. I think that was half.
I didn't see any error between the
that
guard.
was half an inch, I think. If they can steal that one here, I think they're in a really, really good spot. Because then RIT, you almost force RIT to have to score multiple points. But even if they do score multiple in the next end, you would have to hammer in the last. So.
Yeah, I mean, the critical part about this steal is that Cornell's flipped the hammer.
Yeah.
And they've picked up the hammer in the evens if they can steal this end. That'll put them ahead and with the hammer in the evens.
Oh,
and they're going to get it by.
It's by.
Now the question is, can they push it back enough? And the answer is no. It was a great try.
That was a great try, though. You had to commend him for that.
But it's going to be a steal of one. Great shot by Tyler Muller to dig himself out of trouble, looking at two. But they were behind T-line, so he had the pocket to draw to. And after 6 ends, Cornell maintains a 7-3 lead.
Okay. So I guess we can go down for the remaining games here down the list. Looks like MIT 2 scored 3 points. That blew that tie game wide open, so it's now 6-3 over RRPI 2. On sheet 2, UPenn took 1 point. So that is 14-2.
And that'll be their last into play. They'll be out of rocks coming home.
I think, yeah. On sheet 3, Penn State got 1 point. So that's 6-1. On sheet 6, Harvard 1 scored another point. So that is 5-2 against Colgate 1.
And in our feature game, Cornell versus RIT, we've had a very entertaining game. Some great shots made in this game. Cornell on top.
And in good position as well, as per what we said before about the hammers and the even ends.
Yeah, up 4 with 2 to play. They really just need to hold RIT to 1 or 2 here this end. And come home with a healthy lead and the hammer. It's not always easy to defend, though, even with the lead, if you don't peel well.
Mm-hmm. And still, if anyone has any shout-outs to give out or questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, I would have to go on my own phone and give us questions to answer ourselves, which I do not want to do, but that's last resort. Yes, I am that desperate. I'm just kidding.
Anything for entertainment.
Yep.
Now, RIT trying to use the corners here.
So, okay, this stone has heavy rotation on it, so it's going to run straighter than normal, especially on this side as well.
And it's not curling much.
Yeah, but it's actually, okay, the down weight did help it.
And Brendan Polo not being asked to remove the RIT stone, but to come around. little surprising. It looks like RIT is shot.
Okay, this one might be okay. We'll see if it checks up a little bit.
I think it's coming to the back one.
Well, does make them shot, but it's behind T line.
Yeah, so they're now 1-3. Ben Yeager being asked to freeze to the shot stone behind T. And behind the corner guard. And that one came up short. And Cornell can turn the tables here.
Yeah, that one ended up more over center line a little bit, so it does give Cornell a little bit more room to work with.
One of the cardinal rules of throwing early in the end is you can't be light up the middle with hammer. If you're going to come around the center.
You don't want to help the other team, obviously.
Right. Coming up short just digs yourself twice as deep a hole. You throw that one heavy, you'll still have options.
So let's see if this ticks. Oh, it's not enough weight, I think. I thought it was going to tick and move around.
A couple light ones now from both teams. Looks like a replay of the last end with teams struggling to get around the center guards to the 4-foot.
Got some applause here from a good shot from another sheet. And I think that has to be it for sheet 2. Yep.
Well, they're mathematically eliminated, so they have to abandon the game at this point.
I think Bowdoin 2 scored 1 there, I think. Yeah, they scored 1 point, but that does make the final 14-3. UPenn over Bowdoin 2.
So still 4 games going on. Most of them look like they're in firm control.
And who's the other team looking to? So obviously one team. These are the 2-0 teams. What's the other team that's looking to make it into the championship?
Yeah, the other
bracket?
2-0 team is Villanova 1.
Oh, so okay, so they have a pretty hefty
they're on
lead.
sheet 3, and they are leading, so they look like they're odds on to finish 3-0 and qualify.
Yeah.
So RIT went to the back of the rings. Now RIT sitting second and
still can draw on the right side.
Second and fourth, right?
Yes. Still can draw on the right side, but I think it looks like they're electing to raise that blue stone.
Tough shot. Usually if you want to get to a certain spot, it's easier to draw than play a tap.
Oh, I think they're trying to run it, see if they can run it into the red stones. That looks like a call. Definitely going to overcurl on them. This might do something interesting, actually.
It's going to go right through the hole, is it not?
Yeah.
It is.
Wow. I don't know if that was a call. If it was a call, that was a great call by them, honestly. I think that might have
I think
been
that was a good plan B.
Yeah.
There was not enough. There was a rock and an eighth of space
Uh-huh.
between those two, but now.
I think based on the line they were giving, and it looked like they wanted to raise that blue stone with heavier weight into the red stones, but good plan B shot.
That worked out great. So they're now shot rock. Cornell is second.
Actually, wait a second. Can we pull up a
We can get a close-up.
I think our team might be too.
Oh, they might be. Yeah, this is second stone,
Yeah,
right?
they are too. Yep.
So they're sitting two.
And that's a really good shot thrown by who just threw that?
Well, if they're sitting two, I think you get rid of that one.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Make them earn their dues. You could draw around, but I think you're playing with fire if you don't sink this draw and you allow RIT to hit and roll under. You start to put three into play.
Yeah. That was Joe Urbano who threw that, so that's really good, nice shot, and also good call probably from his vice skip, Morgan.
Good switch on the plan there.
Yeah.
To get that shot made. And again, they're just a little tight on these come-arounds. And light. And they've made it more difficult to remove the open stone as well.
So we have another final here on sheet 3. Villanova won. Let's see. Oh, no, actually, Penn State scored 1 point, but I think they chose to shake. And that is 6-2 as the final score.
So Villanova 1 will advance to the championship playoff rounds by virtue of their 3-0 record.
Interesting, actually. I don't know. Well, 4-point deficit, it's a little much, but, you can still give it a try, right?
Well, if you got the hammer coming home, people have scored 4 before. I mean, it's not insurmountable. It's difficult.
Yeah.
At least make them run you out of rocks.
Yeah, true. RIT looking to draw here on the straight side. They had to be very careful not to hit that red guard. But this one is a little bit light, I think, anyway, so.
Now, what does Cornell do? They're down to skip stones. I think they need to get rid of a blue shot.
The problem is that I think they're looking at the blue on the side. They're the ones where they're putting the broom next to, but it's the straight side, and I think they might be taking that into account in terms of throwing hit.
They could always freeze to it as well, and then it would count it out as well.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Get a little more curl that way. I think they need to do something about that stone counting.
If they want to go a little bit, crafty, they could just hit the blue-red guard up there and try to see if they can roll in for shot stone. But that's just if they want to do that.
Yeah, those guards are just, I think, outside of the view of our cameras, right? See if they're lined up properly.
They're like, I think they're lined up towards that blue stone, so it'll redirect a little bit off the way off, and then it should maybe roll to the right or straight back.
Yeah, it looks like it would drag a little bit if you hit it right on the nose. Bumped it back.
Which may actually be helpful in this case because you don't want to run it off the chute.
And Tyler Muller's going to come around and see if he can draw above or freeze to that back blue. I think this one's over curled already.
Oh, no, it's staying out there, actually.
They holding it?
Yeah, well, also the... Wow.
It looked like it almost rubbed on the backside, right?
Did, yeah. If he's shot here, even if he's not shot, limiting down to one score for descent is pretty good, too.
That's a pretty good shot.
Yep, they're looking at it right now.
Hard to say. I think red may be shot. It's very close.
From our angle, it looks like red.
It looks like it's half in, and this one may not be half in. But it could be a measure. Either way, this stone outcounts this one, and that was the key.
Yeah, make them just take 1 point and be in a good spot.
Yeah, coming home up 3 with hammer would be a good spot. So Morgan Shine will have to make a good one here. I think if he follows them down and just moves it an inch,
yeah, I think so.
Get his 2 back in play.
And he's just scared it might not curl. I mean, that guard, it's pretty much buried behind that guard, like half a stone.
Well, Tyler certainly got by that guard by nothing.
Right. But I think they would have to throw a little bit more weight, correct, to try to get it out. Or how much weight would you think?
Well, he just needs to come to that rock and then maybe an inch more. It doesn't have to move it far, I don't think, to get shot. It's a tough shot for sure.
Oh, definitely makeable, though.
They may come back toward this blue rays. Maybe they'll come through the hole again.
He was looking actually at the angle, like he wants to run it into the red. Oh, no, just straight raise. That's what he wants. Okay. Morgan's first rock.
Pretty heavyweight shot.
It's at an angle, so
catching a piece.
No, too thin of an angle.
Drove it sideways into the guard. Just into the top 12. Did open up a path to the 4-foot, though, by running off the corner guard. I think Cornell can just guard here. If they get perfect line, they could drag that in, but I don't think I would try to put it in deep. I'd hate to give RIT a shot at a deuce that they don't deserve.
I think if Cornell knows for a fact if they're shot stone, they just throw the guard, I think. Prevent them from getting 2, and any shenanigans could happen down 2 in the 8th end.
I think Cornell may think they're shot, or thinks that RIT is shot, I should say. Tyler Muller with his last. Looking to cover this draw path to the 4-foot. Again, just kind of crashed, and that's going to open up a little bit of a path. Pretty tight. I think that last stone thrown by Tyler Muller may be just good enough to prevent the draw to the forefoot on the intern side. That path is not there. And so now Morgan Shine is looking at a little delicate tap back here to get a deuce. Line looks really good here. Now the question is, can they get enough curl to move that stone? Did make contact. I think that's enough to get there one.
I think so, yeah.
I think the shot for two just wasn't there. They got by with about the right weight and just did not get enough curl to get to the face of the stone. So that's going to be a single for RIT. So mission accomplished.
And the last two remaining games, other games on the ice, they are playing their 8th end. So on sheet 1, RPI 2 score 1 point, and it is MIT 2 6 to 4 coming home. And then on sheet 6, it's Colgate 1 scoring 1 point, so that's 5 to 3. Harbor 1 over Colgate. We are almost in the home stretch here. Well, actually, we are in the home stretch.
Okay, last end of play. In our feature game, Cornell leading 7-4, up 3 here with the last rock advantage in the 8th end. They're playing the Red Rocks. RIT needs a ton of rocks in play this end.
That was MJ going to make coffee.
For tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning should be fun. Playoff Sundays are definitely very exciting times. As you're pushing all the way to the end of the tournament. Maybe you'll be a little tired, but you still want that first place medal.
Should be dramatic. It's a single elimination playoff. You've got to win 2 games tomorrow to win the prize. Nice come around by RIT. They've got a center guard and a rock behind it.
Yep, that's the first step. If you want to take 3 points.
This is where a little soft weight tick shot would be perfect. Even if you don't remove any rocks from play, you just move them around a little bit to open up shot stone would be ideal.
Heavyweight, but let's see. Okay, it's curling nicely. It's just going to.
Don't want to clunk the guard out of play.
It's a free guard zone, isn't it?
Yep.
Sweep that hard, buddy.
Did he get it out?
Yep, got it out.
And that's where you've got to throw like a hack weight shot. You can't throw a heavy weight. And if you tick the guard, that's great. You get the illegal tick shot. And if you tick the stone in the rings, then you move it around into an open position. And you roll your shooter to a spot where can be a potential counter. So I like throwing a freeze or just maybe a back ring tap back with that weight with that particular situation at hand. So that way something good happens as long as you contact something. You could roll to two corners.
Exactly.
Now it's game on for RIT. They've got one in and a guard. Probably should throw a second guard here.
I think this one's coming in, but top 12, if it freezes right on top of the blue, it's perfect.
Yeah, top 12 would be a great spot.
That's a really good spot, I think.
That's a great spot.
All right, and for the first time, I think he's going to look to peel the stone.
Yep, 5 rock rules expired, so now it's got to go. You know, pretty much anything works here except an almost nose hit. A nose hit probably loses a couple stones.
It might actually, one of the blue stones might not count because of where the top 12 one is. It's like half into the 12. So if you do jam it nose,
might hang around.
Yeah, blue will. I think blue will only sit one though, I believe. But still, obviously, just want to straight peel the stone. If he misses this might be really bad.
Yeah, you got to hit that stone. Oh, he hit one of them. That's okay.
Okay, that's actually okay.
As long as something goes away. Almost a complete flash, but that's a good outcome. Yeah, where they put the last stone is actually a pretty good spot. You need to have 2 stones in front of the shot stone in the 8-foot. Generate a steal here.
Sweepers are not on it, so it might be a little bit heavier than what they want.
And they don't want to bounce here. Can go behind's okay.
Okay. Not the most
terrible.
horrible shot. Yep. Still keeps it, lined up.
And get rid of the guard. Make sure we hit a stone here.
Release looks pushed out a little wide. Let's see if it comes back.
I think he's got it.
No, it's okay. Okay, I must have perception.
Didn't want to
wait
nose
a second.
it. Didn't want to nose it. Needed to sweep that stone to hold it out. So
it would have been okay if that did touch the stone that in the house too. Try to double it out, but
yeah, you hate calling that because if you miss it, you leave the center.
Yeah, you do leave the center. Yeah.
Better just to call for the straight peel.
That's not helping Cornell.
Now RT will dump another one around the red guard.
I think if RT make this really good, I think Cornell might, based on what they, how they played this game, like their decision making, they might want to. They're gonna probably look to come around, try to sit shot. That's just my theory, though.
They could come around and freeze on the stone in the back 8.
I think
that would get them out of the ends.
If there's a second like guard in the way, they might look to do that though. I think. Well, I would still peel, but I'm just saying.
There's still a lot of time left in the end, so a lot of rocks to come.
Okay.
I think you go ahead and peel that stone. Might get 2 here if you hit a half a rock. 2/3. Not sure would have brought that stone all the way to the 12-foot. Still too early. And you allow Cornell kind of a free shot to remove a stone from play. You need to steal 3.
Plus it leaves them a tighter stone to the house to perhaps they can run back later if necessary. This one is wide, yeah. Not going to come back. This end is getting interesting now. It really is.
And if anything, you want to be narrow and take off the red guard. You have to, again, it's one of those situations where if you're peeling, you need to hit a stone.
I think for RIT,
I like the in-turn draw.
Yeah, draw is good. If they want to, if they don't feel confident about the draw weight right now on that side, just throw a guard and let Cornell try to throw a draw, and if they miss it, just you can do the draw then. But
yeah, Cornell's out as this in-turn freeze. They're going to come around anywhere on this path, right?
Yeah.
Toward the stone in the back. That's their out. If I can draw here. Their out is to come back to this stone or anywhere along that path to outcount some stones.
They didn't outcount.
You could just throw one here and say, go ahead and make it now. Yeah. But I think I like cutting off this path.
Exactly. You just need to outcount. Well, you're okay with giving 2 points up here, just as long as you don't give up 3. But we kind of want to see an extra end. Well, actually, do we? I don't know.
Don't know if I want to see an extra end or not.
You had a long day, Roger.
We've been here a long time.
Yeah. Well, I'm obviously I just started this game like
plus we still got to do the pairings for the playoffs tomorrow. So.
Oh, true, and give an update to everybody.
This is going to be short. This will cover the draw path, though.
Still not a bad shot for RIT.
Yeah, they wanted to set 4 there, I think, but now
Cornell has another chance at this takeout game.
Now they're coming around looking at the draw. I still think the hit's there.
I think they just
too early to draw. That draw is still going to be there as long as you hit a rock. Can't throw it wide. Even if you move the red stone, you're in better shape.
This one you just take a deep breath and just make sure you throw a good shot here.
And this one that was turned in right from the start.
That's not by.
And they got it by.
Wow, what a shot.
Swept the wrong one. Well, maybe not. Just barely left the rings, but that's a great shot. That helps a tremendous amount. Opens up the rings.
Okay. Now, RIT is still sitting second, but that's not in a 4 foot's wide open for them now. So for Cornell, at least.
Yeah, and Cornell's got 2 ways in, right, to outcount. And they just need to outcount that stone, right? That's the only stone they need to outcount. Yeah. They can draw in both ways, or they can just hit that stone.
If they want to just mathematically eliminate them. RIT has 2 more stones to go for Morgan. This is his first shot. I think, let me do the math real quick.
I think he's got to hook one around to the top 4, right?
Yeah.
He's got to go right in there.
And Cornell, hopefully what they want situation is just to throw 2 takeouts, which will run them out of stones.
I think if Morgan throws this perfectly to the 4 foot, you just follow him down. And then you can always hit the stone out on the edge with your last. I mean, they've got to get rid of your stone as well.
This one would be a little heavy.
And that's going all the way to the back.
Well, we'll see what Cornell likes to do.
I got a feeling they may just draw. It's a tough little hit if you want to hit a stone back there.
Yeah. Deep in the house, right? And you still have to throw the, it might overcurl on you when it travels more distance.
Got them behind T-line. got a pretty big pocket. And Tyler's had his draw weight all night long.
Yeah, I think he definitely would want to throw the draw here. Oh, did we get a final score?
Yeah, I think Harvard defeated Colgate 1. Didn't catch the score the
Oh,
last
okay.
end.
Yeah, they didn't put up the score. That probably didn't. Looks like on sheet 1 also they sheet 1's going to extra end. I think RPI 2 scored 2 points. Yep, they scored 2 points. So tied at 6 in an extra end. MIT 2 has the hammer coming home.
And as predicted, Tyler is going to throw the freeze. He's going to. No, it's going to be perfect, right?
Yeah.
Tapped it back, and he's frozen.
Yeah. Have to hit this. And
RIT
then
will have to play the double, right, and
Yep.
try to sit 3.
double and make sure your shooter stays in the house, because I think that back blue stone's not going to stay anywhere in the house after you're done with this
No,
shot.
that one's going to leave.
Yeah. Just got to
Yes.
make sure you guys sit in here. So you sit the 3, make the Cornell skip. Tyler Muller throw his last stone at least.
Yeah, critical to keep your shooter here. You'll need some weight to make the double, so you're going to have to get right on the nose or just a shade inside. Unfortunately, throwing a downweight shot here is probably not possible the way those stones are locked together.
Yeah, you won't move that red stone enough if you throw it down weight, I think.
Got to get right to the nose or cross over just a smidge. Last rock for RIT here in the 8th end. They need a double and stick.
Yep, stone is off. They need to sit 3 by the end of the shot. Oh, no. It's... Oh!
They kicked the stone.
Kick the stone. Oh, no.
It looked like it was by.
Yeah, that's...
Sweeper caught the stone with his toe.
It happens, unfortunately. When your adrenaline's pumping, it's the last stone. Trying to sweep really hard. It's happened to me before, so no, I can. It's okay. I hope he shakes it off. It happens all the time.
So congratulations to Cornell. They go undefeated in pool play, and they advance to the championship playoff round. RIT will be in the mix somewhere as well tomorrow. I'm sure they're playing on Sunday with 2 wins. It was a very entertaining game. Enjoyed having you with us tonight, Jeremy.
Oh,
it was fun.
Yep. Thank you for having me.
We'll be on the air tomorrow morning with our webcast with our semifinals at 8:30 and our finals at 11:30. Should be some good games out there, so please tune in. Excuse me. Meanwhile, this is Roger Ouellette, Jeremy Zhang.
Jeremy Zhang. Have a
Thanks
good night.
Have a good night, everybody.